Hello, everyone. I'm James from the DoraHacks operations team. Welcome back. This is the AEZ Quadratic Funding Grant round 6. So today is the first demo session of our, I think we have 4 demo sessions booked in. We've got 11 grantees that have passed into this round. We've got most of them returning grantees from previous rounds, and we've got 2 new grantees to meet as well. So it's super exciting to be kicking off the round. I'm here today with Cito Zone. Just a quick overview of the AEZ for those of you who don't know. For this round, there is over 8K Atom, the same as every other round, up for grabs, which you can vote on by donating some Atom to your projects in the quadratic funding round. And running concurrent to that is the Macy voting round, which for anyone who's staking Atom on any validator, you're automatically whitelisted. And so you have voice credits waiting for you, and you can cast your vote using those voice credits for any of the 11 grantees, and you have until the 3rd of May to cast your votes in both of those rounds before we tally up the results and then separate the prize pools. So that's just over 8K Atom for the quadratic funding side and over 31K USDC for the Macy round. So a big thank you to Cosmos Hub, AA DAO, and Dora Factory, as always, for providing the funding for these projects. We're looking to fund as many Cosmos ecosystem public goods projects as we can. We've got some great grantees that have returned for multiple rounds, and we're excited to support some new ones this round as well. So head over to dorahacks.io/AEZ to cast your vote either in the QF round or in the Macy round. And remember, if you're an Atom staker on any validator, you will be whitelisted for Macy, and it doesn't cost you anything. Even the gas is covered by the gas station. So go ahead and vote. Without any further ado, Lethang from Cito Zone. Good to have you back, man.
Yeah, great to be here again.
Cool. Well, we look forward to hearing about your progress since the last round. You've been in for a few rounds now, so great to hear about your progress since a few months ago when we kicked off round 5. As we're now in round 6, so it'd be good to hear about what your plans are, and maybe also include a quick overview for people who don't know much about Cito Zone, what you're all about and what you're working
on. I will just introduce ourselves and then share our progress and what we have been doing.
Great.
So let me just share my screen. All right. Can you see my screen?
Yep, all good.
So we are a media team. We cover almost everything in happenings in the Cosmos ecosystem. And our products includes the Crypto YouTube channels with like over 52K subscriber and on average from 2 to 5,000 views per videos. We also have a Twitter account called Cito Zone. So on the Twitter account, we also cover the news, Cosmos news, but we also have some some products. The first one is we call the interchain ecosystem maps. So basically, every now and then we'll put every project in Cosmos into some categories, and we try to include everybody here. The second ones, we have Cosmos Byte. So this one is like a weekly report on Twitter, where we include like all the news that happening in Cosmos that week. And then we have Cosmos Insight. So basically, this one also weekly report, but this one is more about data, like how many IBC transaction happenings like this week compared to last week, how Osmosis perform, like the volume that's happening on Osmosis, or like some interesting number like TVL on Noble USDN, or Celestia DA usage. We also have Spanish channels. So basically, this Spanish channels is we have YouTube channels and also a Twitter channels, and like it's the same with like our English channel but in Spanish. And then we have a Cito Earn campaign. So basically, we reward Cosmos content creators. So this campaign we host it every month. So every content creator in Cosmos can creating some contents about Cosmos and win some prize. So currently, the for this month we are running a campaign about IBC Eureka. So if anyone creating a piece of content about Cosmos IBC Eureka, they can submit to this campaign, and we will pick 5 winner at the end of this campaign. And finally, we have a website where we call Cito Zone, where we put everything together. So basically, we have videos or our research and writings, the Cosmos Byte, the Cito Earns, and also our Cito report, which is a weekly newsletter, which we only include major news. So the one on Twitter will include a lot of like smaller news, but the Cito report is only include major news. So for DoraHacks, we submit the grant in order to create more content related to Cosmos Hub, IBC, and projects building on top of the hubs. So we commit to creating at least 4 videos a month related to Cosmos Hub. So as I wrote in the milestone on DoraHack, in February and March, each month we create 6 pieces of videos. So we create more videos about the Cosmos Hub than we committed. And we also use we apply for the fund from DoraHack in order to run the Cito Earn campaign. So basically, we use the fund to reward content creators within Cosmos, and we change the topics every month. So like last month was about AEZ Network, and the month before that was about Cosmos Hub, and this month is about IBC Eureka. So yeah, that's it all about us. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thanks, Lethang. So what was the key milestone for this round? So if we see you in a few months' time at the start of round 7, what's the biggest thing that you plan to have achieved by then?
So we still focus a lot on the Cosmos Hub, and we think with the new leadership, think might get a lot better, and we already see some team like pivot to the hub, and building something on top of the hub. So we think the excitement is there's already some excitement coming back to the Cosmos Hub. So we will try to create more content related to the hub, and also try to align with the interchain labs to coordinate the contents things with them. So we like previous round, we commit to create at least 4 videos related to the hub every month, and for the grant, we will use the grant to continue to run the Cito Earn campaign. So we think this is a good way to nurture a communities of and like help content creator in Cosmos to like so they basically they spread more about Cosmos, and they also earn some rewards.
Yeah.
So we create a communities around Cosmos Hub.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. It's an exciting time to be in the Cosmos ecosystem. There's a lot of exciting changes going on. Eureka, you mentioned some of the stuff. So I'm sure you'll have a lot of news to cover and a lot of important updates to share with the community. So yeah, Cito Zone is a great resource for everything educational in the Cosmos space. Thanks so much for jumping on the call today to share about your recent updates with the community. Yeah, thanks, Lethang. We'll move on in a second to the next grantee who can't actually be with us live, but I've got a video that they have prepared. So I'll show that now. You can drop your screen share off, Lethang, and thanks a lot for being part of the AEZ.
Thank you.
Awesome. So the next grantee we have is an existing grantee from the Warp CLI team, but they've got a new project for this round, which is cw-swaggy, cw-swaggy. So I will share now a short video introducing this from the team behind cw-swaggy.
Hi there. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and everything in between. My name is Dave, and you might know me from previous rounds from the Warp CLI project, which is what I am the main contributor for. But this time I am here with a different project called cw-swaggy, or just Swaggy for short. Swaggy is basically, in very short terms, a documentation.
Sorry, I think I might have cut the sound by accident there. Let me move it back to the start.
Which is what I am the main contributor for. But this time I am here with a different project called cw-swaggy, or just Swaggy for short. Swaggy is basically, in very short terms, a documentation tool that generates Swagger UI or OpenAPI standard documentation based on a smart contract written in Rust for cw. So basically, it just takes the schema for the contract and it turns it into a documentation page like you see on the right of this screenshot. The cool thing about this is that it is all interactive, which is something that we're going to see in a second. But basically, the goals of this project are, among other things, an easy way to provide documentation that front-end team can use to integrate the UI into the smart contract, just make a full stack dApp, basically. Because this is a commonly used standard already used in Web 2, so why not just bring it into Web 3, you know? Not reinventing any wheels here. We're just using technology that people are already familiar with, which is why I believe that this has a lot of potential in bringing a better workflow, basically, and a better dev experience for Web3 developers. Additionally, having a visual documentation also helps with presenting a smart contract or just a functionality to non-technical audience or to executives, and just in general showing off the progress that has been made on the smart contract front, because generally speaking it's a back-end type of thing when you're making smart contracts and you can't really show much for it. But having something visual always helps, right, in keeping audiences engaged, and also for the team itself it helps with iterating quickly. It helps with testing the functionality that has been implemented and finding bugs faster, and just saving a lot of development time by, for example, handing over the documentation to the QA team so that they can just run through it themselves without any particular in-depth blockchain knowledge, right? Which helps a lot in cutting down on costs of training people, and that just in general helps a lot. Now, in the cw ecosystem, we don't really have a tool like this, at least that I know of, that would help with creating documentation that is easily human readable. We have generators for JavaScript. We have basically client generators for JavaScript and for Golang, I'm pretty sure, but we do not have smart contract documentation that people can read. A lot of other chains have implemented this natively, but I am pretty sure that bringing something like this for cw and cw in general is going to just improve the developer experience across the board, as well as communication. between different teams in cross-functional environments, essentially. The current status of the project basically is it was released recently, and it works by creating the documentation like it's supposed to. But the next step that I would like to focus on is integrating it with my other project, which is Warp CLI, because contracts built with Warp CLI are a great target for this, basically, for having documentation just seamlessly integrated into the development process. And once that's done, the final thing for this year would be to add additional customization to the entire process and just make the entire user experience of the documentation page look much more like a blockchain and a bit less like a REST API, because there's some improvements that could be done there, definitely. Now for a quick demo, which I'm going to be using this pre-existing smart contract that I found off of CW NFTs. This is a CW721 base contract. You might be familiar with it if you've ever worked with NFTs, which, I mean, most people here probably have actually used an NFT at some point in their life, which I feel like that makes it a good example. So here I am building a Open API JSON spec out of customization schema that I previously extracted out of the contract. And once that's done, we can very easily use that generated Swagger schema and serve it with a built-in HTTP server that Swaggy provides. And as you can see, now we have access to this entire page that lists all of our functions that our smart contract can do. Now, what I meant by customization, you can clearly see already here that this requires a bit of extra work. Like, for example, this all says post get, which are method names for HTTP requests. But it definitely would be nicer to have like query and execute message type of distinctions here, like what we normally use in smart contracts. But those are things for later and cosmetic things for now, where I was trying to focus mostly on setting up the actual working example here. So I just connected the wallet with this app, and now we're going to instantiate a new instance of the NFT smart contract. Because what we normally think about when we have a NFT is just basically a collection. I don't have one deployed on the chain right now that I can work with, but here we can just make a new one. And a lot of these fields are optional, so let's just go with a new collection. And that should be enough to kind of get us started. It will fill out the other fields as default values, so basically just the linter. And as you can see, I just approved the transaction for storing the bytecode data for our contract. Now now this is an instantiation of the contract transaction, so let's approve that as well. As you can see, it went through just fine. This is the response from the chain, basically all the logs that the transaction finished completely and correctly. And it also automatically filled in the Smoke contract address right here in this field. So this can be used externally as well. This is all deployed on the Juno mainnet, because that's what the default network is set to right now. And here we can basically just call any of those functions here. Like this is a get, so basically a query function for getting all the information about the contract. So I mean, I guess why not just call that, because it is something that is going to give us a lot of information. So now we're not going to see any transaction pop up because this is a query function. So when I click this execute button here, we're going to see a bunch of information about our collection that we just inputted when we were instantiating it. So this is basically just under the hood triggering the query function of our smart contract and returning the data here for our inspection. That way we can catch any errors, bugs, or problems with our smart contract very easily. And we don't have to have any technical knowledge of how smart contracts work, how to call them using the CLI or API or RPC nodes or SDKs in JavaScript. We just basically use a very simple to use UI that a lot of people are already familiar with from building Web 2 apps. So that is basically kind of the goal here.
Okay, I'm sorry for the slight technical issue at the start with the sound there, but I hope you got a good background of cw-swaggy. Again, that is a new project from an existing grantee, the creator of Warp CLI. So great to see our developer ecosystem building out new projects and using their creative skills to bring new grantees to the AEZ grant program. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We've only got those two projects today. There'll be another session later today at 3 p.m. UTC, and then again tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC as well. So just a reminder, you can head over to dorahacks.io/AEZ now, cast your votes either in the QF round with your Atom or just vote in the Macy if you're an Atom staker. So the whole Cosmos ecosystem is welcome. Cosmos community, come and take part and shape the outcome of this round. And you have until the 3rd of May to cast your votes there, and then we'll be tallying up the winners and distributing the prizes from the prize pool. Thanks a lot to everyone at home for tuning in, and thanks Lathang for jumping on to talk about Cito Zone.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks everyone. See you in the next one.